And good evening, this is Bob W6CJX, and I'll be your net control operator for tonight's Papa Great Outdoor Net. This net meets every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific. This is a directed net, so please go through net control at all times, and your cooperation is always greatly appreciated. Stations with emergency or priority traffic can come into the net at any time with a double break, and net control will respond appropriately. The Papa system is an open membership supported system in the Southern California area with coverage from the Mexican border to Paso Robles and from the Channel Islands to Las Vegas, Nevada. If you're a visitor to the Papa system tonight, I invite you to go to papasys.com, that's PAPASYS.com, and register as a guest. With your guest registration, you'll have 45 days of free access to the Papa system. At the end of your one-time 45-day guest access period, we'd love for you to become a subscribed member, continue to use the Papa system on a daily basis, and be part of the Papa system family. However, all amateurs are welcome to participate in the daily, weekly, and monthly Papa system nets regardless of their membership status. Again, this is the Papa system Great Outdoor Net. That it is indeed. Good evening, everybody. Bob W6CJX here, and in the net control hot seat tonight. Not that hot though. We have about 62 degrees here in the shack, so that's actually pretty comfortable. A couple little light fans in the background. Hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm sure you probably did. We sure did. Still eating turkey. Oh boy. And tonight was good, but I think I might have to take a couple breaks. And we'll see. Froze some of it too. All right. Well, tonight it's going to be kind of a bird night, I think. Did I say bird? Bird. Where's bird? Oh gosh, there's another bird. Anyway, we've got a few things to talk about. It's kind of a neat, different net. It's something I've never done before. Not that I've never had on a special guest. I've had Steve, I've had on Ray, and I've had on Sam. And am I forgetting somebody? Anybody else that wants to come on, they can come on too. But this one's actually was done remotely, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So with that, let's head over and check in with Steve, KI6LOV, our field reporter. What's going on, Steve? And how was the weekend? Bet it was just fabulous.
All right, Bob. Thank you for having me once again for my report from the field. I had a fabulous time out at the cabin. But tonight, I am going to save my hiking stories for next week and bring you a Big Bear Bald Eagle update. So for all of you who've been following Jackie and Shadow, the Big Bear Bald Eagles, for the last few years, there's a really good excerpt from the live cam today that Lady Hawk posted. And so you should go on YouTube and search for Jackie and Shadow defend their nest from the juvenile eagle. And if you ever had any doubts about Jackie being one badass bird, you need to check that out. It's pretty cool. And so it is nesting season, and they don't take kindly to strangers coming by to try to take over. So anyway, keep following them and keep following Bob on the Outdoor Net. And we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you next week right here. This is KI6LOV. Back to you, Bob.
Well, thank you, Steve. I did check out some of that kind of on purpose and then by accident, too. I don't know if I caught exactly the one you're talking about, but it was just seeing them back at the nest again, and they both look really good, like they're not all tattered and defeathered and a few other things that could happen over a summer time period since we saw them last. So they look really, really good. And I'd like to check that out. And there's some really good close-ups too. I mean, they were kind of like, this is from a few days ago. You could really see their eyes, and boy, they're just beautiful, beautiful creatures, definitely. Well, thank you, Steve, as always. And we love having our weekly trail report and or just our outdoor report. We'll get a name nailed down before the end of the year, I promise. We'll make you an official something. Yeah, field reporter. I mean, that's the best, I think, anyway. So good. I hope you had a great time with your niece and nephew down there, and you traveled safe. So we haven't had a chance to chat, so we will. I promise I won't be in any dentist chair this week that I know of. Okay, no, I think I'm free this week. So call away. We'll be all set. There's a slight joke behind this whole thing. Anyway, with that, I want to do a little bit of. Let's see. What do I want to do first? I'm going to do our outdoor net 101 from the University of the Outdoor Net. I think this is a little interesting. I'd like to spend some time talking about wild turkeys. Now, they're interesting creatures, and I didn't know a whole lot about them, but I found out more than I probably ever wanted to. And I think it's interesting. So, if anything tonight, it's kind of a learning thing about wild turkeys. If you kind of wondered where are they, where do they go, all that kind of stuff. So, we'll take a minute and listen to a little explanation about wild turkeys.
Welcome to the Great Outdoor Net University. Tonight, we will be discussing turkeys in the wild. Wild turkeys are a conservation success story, with robust wild populations found in nearly every state across the United States. Habitat. Wild turkeys in California thrive in lower elevation in oak woodlands along the Coast Ranges and Sierra Nevada foothills. Hunting regulations. If you are interested in hunting wild turkeys, you must comply with the regulations set by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. The fall season is typically in late November and early December, with a daily bag limit of 1 turkey of either sex. Only shotguns that are 10 gauge or smaller and incapable of holding more than 3 shells are permitted. Archery equipment may be used during the general season, with a special archery-only time frame following the spring season. Diet. Wild turkeys are omnivores, foraging on the ground for a variety of foods. Their diet includes acorns, nuts, berries, seeds, insects, and small vertebrates like lizards and salamanders. Roosting. For safety from ground predators, turkeys spend their nights roosting together in large trees. They generally fly up to roost around dusk and come down at dawn to forage. So thanks for listening, and this is probably more than you ever wanted to know about wild turkeys.
Yeah, exactly. More than I ever wanted to know. No, I found that interesting, and there's a whole lot more of that, but I just thought I would run that through to see if you guys would pick up on anything with it. I don't know if I never tried a wild turkey. I've tried a goose before once I was in Europe and Germany, and they don't typically do turkeys as far as I was told. And but the guy said we have goose. And I said, "Oh, you got a who? We got a what?" We've got goose. And I said, "Okay, well, I'll try whatever the goose. Oh, goose. Oh, quack, Hong Kong. Oh yeah, Hong Kong. Yeah, it was pretty fun. That was the waiter at the Crown Royal Plaza Hotel in Frankfurt." Okay, for tonight, we have a very special interview with a very special person to me and our family. It's my brother-in-law and Carolyn's brother. And he lives up in Cedar City, Utah. And just to preface all that, he was gracious enough to come on and just do a little bit of an interview. So I recorded it. And so he's not a ham, but I'm under control of my station. I guess it'd be kind of third-party traffic. Bill is quite the heavy metal guitarist, and he's quite an avid outdoorsman, living in Cedar City, just outside of Zion, which all of us can envy. And he does own a side-by-side Yamaha 1000R, which is just a hot rod. That thing is so much fun. So when we go visit, it's it's a hoot, to say the least. And he's the one, yes, that I got. Well, we took the one snowmobile, and I thought I was lost. So I've given that story once. So that was who it was. That was my uncle Bill. We call him Uncle Bill because of our daughter. All right, with that, W6CJX for the Papa System Sunday night Great Outdoor Net. So let's welcome Brother Bill to the Great Outdoors.
Thank you very much, Bob. It's a pleasure being here on the Great Outdoor Net.
Thank you, sir. I know you enjoy it. Occasionally get to go through the archives and check out some of the past ones, and I'll usually give you a heads up that we did something that was, kind of up your alley and that you liked. I couldn't think actually of a better person to have as a guest with the topic of wild turkeys. So maybe you could give us just a little bit of what it's like living and coexisting with 25 wild turkeys at your doorstep?
Oh, yeah. Well, after living in California for 50 years, it was a culture shock at first, but we love it. On any day, you can walk out in front and there's 25 or 30 turkeys sitting out there, and it's a real kick in the afternoons when they're going up into the 100-foot poplar trees. They make all kinds of noise on the roof because they can't fly real good. They're very clumsy, and they jump around in the trees, and they jump from the roof into the trees and fall down, and you can hear them while you're sitting in the house. Uh, yeah, they sleep in the trees most of the year, so you can't really see them during the summer. But coming home in the evening, when the trees are all bare,
Oh, yeah.
you can see maybe 20 or 30 big shadows up in the
Wow.
trees, and they're hilarious because some of them are so big they break the branches. So
No, why didn't they make a horror movie out of wild turkeys? That would be it's kind of like the birds, only these huge wild turkeys are hanging in your yard or something, and they come down and attack you while you're mowing in the lawn, or I don't know, flap you to
Yeah.
death or something, or gobble you to death. So,
Sure.
oh yeah, get back out,
There
get
you
out
go,
of
you
the
got it.
yard. Jeez, these guys come in here.
Watching them in the spring is a lot of fun too. It's a whole different type of experience because the males and the females are courting. So you've got the males with those beautiful preening feathers in the back walking around the girls, and they fluff out their feathers and look beautiful.
Oh, I
Um,
can imagine. Yeah. Wow, that must be
yeah,
awesome. I didn't even
and the
think of that.
female,
I mean, I've seen it in pictures, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
females come through with all the
Wow.
babies. It's really a pleasure.
All the
I mean,
bling. Oh, yeah, that's
we've
right. You
got
said about the babies the other night. That was pretty. I just trying to picture baby turkeys, but wow,
mhm.
that's pretty wild. Now, are all the wild turkeys black? I mean,
No, we don't have any black ones here. Maybe the California ones are. Of
maybe.
course, not in California. I don't think I ever saw a wild turkey. But coming up here, no, these are beautiful hawk almost looking,
Oh,
like a
wow.
giant hawk, because they have a beautiful tail pattern and they're brown.
Yeah.
And then we have in the neighborhood there's probably 200 turkeys here.
Oh,
There's
jeez.
two white ones, two albinos,
Oh
and
my
they're
gosh.
spectacular. I've been still trying to get pictures of them,
Good.
and last spring she came through with 5 babies, and all of them were brown.
Oh my gosh.
We were hoping for some more albinos,
At
but
least gray. I mean, you figure it'd be half and half, black, dark, and white. Yeah. Well, that's
yeah,
wow.
we've gotten so used to them. I'm not sure we could live without them. So when we're looking for our forever home, we're keeping that in mind.
Or move them with you. Just put them in one of those horse trailers and go down the road. All this be going like people passing by, going, "Hey, how's all those turkeys doing over there?"
Mhm.
Well, when do they come down to feed? Is it in the morning time, evening time? And what year did all this start? When did you
Yeah,
start noticing
it's
turkeys that
pretty
are, you
interesting.
know?
Yeah, they just hang around the neighborhood. They'll come down out of the trees, I imagine at daybreak, and they make their rounds in the neighborhood and come back around 5 because it's starting to get dark, and they're looking to get into my 100-foot poplar trees, which I have about
Oh, wow.
20.
Yeah.
And they get up in there and hide, and so they start eating out front in the morning, and then they walk, and then they leave, and then they come back in the afternoon and go jump across our roof and jump into the trees,
Oh, geez.
spend the night.
That quite makes a lot of noise as they're clopping along the
Oh,
roof or something, right?
w- yeah, thunderstorms and wind. You get to hear them having all kinds of trouble all night. Yeah,
Oh, geez.
every time there's a big breeze, they're gobbling, or if there's a
Is there like a
lightning.
dropping problem, or like is there a lot of droppings? You know what I'm talking about, like guano,
Oh yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I mean, I can imagine the
That's
trees
an
being
issue.
white or something, right?
That's an issue. There's a lot of that.
But yeah, so I figure they were, get a kind of like I was equating it to the peacocks. We used to have peacocks out in Moore Park, and the peacocks would do that shrill thing at night. And of course, the first time when Carolyn and I and Shanna moved out there, I guess from Hatteras, we were like, "What the hell was that?" Because it's like this loud, loud shrill, and it carries through the whole neighborhood. And I said, I have no idea, but I have seen turkeys. I think I posted it one year on Facebook. Was up in Solvang, walking down the street, and it was Thanksgiving. You can tell by all the leaves on the trees. And I took this picture because there were the two wild turkeys just walking down the sidewalk. And I forgot what caption I put on Facebook. It was something like, "I hope these two know, time to get off the streets" or something. I made a comment about it, but that was they do have them up there. I guess it said for California, like all the coastal areas that have oak
Yeah.
trees and stuff like that out this way. So that's probably, and those are the ones that are pretty black. So let me ask you, did you ever have anything really funny or interesting like happen with these guys out outside anywhere? Anything happen funny?
Oh
Strange?
yes. Recently, we've had an issue here with. I looked out the kitchen window the other day, and there's maybe 30 of them out front. And I look over to the left at the very expensive Dodge truck,
Oh yeah.
and there's about 15 turkeys standing. So yeah, that was quite a scare. I went out the door very quietly, not to spook them, so because they have huge claws,
Yeah.
and they're
Talent, yeah.
here's 400 pounds of turkeys on the cab of the Ram, and and I went out and just, okay guys, can you just move along, just quietly move along, and I very just gently started walking towards the truck to get them off of it, but
Oh my gosh.
there's footprints all over it, and it was a real mess.
That's
But
worse than being in a hailstorm. You could have all these.
yeah,
Well,
we
my
certainly.
first thought too was, what if would you could use the emergency horn thing, like beep 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 that you hear people doing, the panic button. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of, the panic
I,
button.
I,
But then that would probably just get them to freak out and fly and try to fly and scratch, and then even worse, right?
exactly. That's
Yeah.
the big fear. So
Oh yeah.
let's just hope that they're not making that. They don't make that a
I
habit.
have it.
That should
Yeah.
only happen one time.
What are the hunting rules like they are just about anywhere? You got to have your hunting license, obviously, but
Yeah,
then like a bird
they have
permit or something?
seasons. They have seasons. And I think there's a limit of two. And yeah, not that many people hunt the turkeys. They're all after the elk and the trophy
Mm.
deer.
Oh, yeah.
We've got these mountains. There's just it's hard to even imagine between the antelope, the deer,
Oh.
and the elk and stuff. The mountains are covered with all kinds of wildlife. Spectacular.
Well, you can buy a turkey in a store, but it's a little harder to buy venison and elk and moose
Oh
and
yeah,
bear meat or whatever in a store. You got to kind of
yeah.
know someone.
But yeah, yeah, they have seasons for black powder guns.
Oh, wow.
You're taking by rifle and then also taking them by arrow.
Yeah,
Different
archery,
seasons.
right.
And then
Wow.
in the spring there is no hunting. So
Right, yeah, because of the mating season. That makes a lot of sense. I
I
mean,
think
I
so.
really
Yeah.
never was a hunter. Did you ever hunt at all? I mean,
No,
I
no. I'm
really
a
didn't
catcher
either.
release
No.
and yeah. Friend.
How are we on the outdoor net and neither one of us have ever hunted before? I mean, I went one time quail hunting with somebody and I don't think we ever shot anything. It was like I had the little 10
No,
gauge or whatever it is.
only if I needed to feed my family or
Oh yeah,
anybody.
no, I get that. I loved all those Alaskan shows where they literally, they kill the elk and it feeds the whole family and they get the hide and just kind of like the Native
Hmm.
Americans, they use every bit of it, the bones or whatever, and feed the dogs, the sled dogs, and no, I love all that. I don't really want to do all that stuff, but I love watching it from my armchair. You have anything else that you want to add to the topic, and then I will go ahead and close it for the net tonight.
Well, I think turkeys are spectacular animals.
Mm.
They're just really a lot of fun. I never thought of them when living in California all the
No, oh
years. I
no,
didn't
no,
think of
except
turkeys being
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
big, but I've grown to really attach to them. They're clumsy, they're funny, they're
Mm,
gobbling, they chase each other around, and then, like I said, in the springtime, that's a whole show by itself. You could just pull up your chair
wow.
and sit out front and watch them do their thing. They're pretty funny to
Yeah,
watch.
if Bill gives you a
So
chair, make sure you check it first because it may fall
yeah,
through.
yeah. And I'm trying to think another good funny thing that did happen once. Well, it's not so funny, but I mean it does happen because they're so damn clumsy. Uh, uh, they jumped out of the one of them jumped out of a tree and went right through the glass window
Oh,
on
jeez.
the patio.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so
Kamikaze, they don't know what the hell. I can picture him with
yeah,
goggles on, just flying around like you see in these
yeah.
cartoons or whatever.
And we've heard about them. They go through people's windows, unfortunately,
Oh,
sometimes,
jeez.
so into the house.
Wow. Well, I really want to thank you for putting some time aside with us and on the Great Outdoor Net
Well,
tonight. I mean,
enjoyed
it's
chatting.
you've got a lot of good stuff that you do up there, and we'd love to hear some more of it. So maybe we can have you back at a later date with another adventure topic of some type, especially going through the rocks. A lot of people are interested in that.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of stories over the last. I've been up here for 15 years now,
Mm.
so um, yeah, it was a pleasure being here. Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoy the outdoor net and listening to your on the Facebook page.
On Yeah, or
But
on the YouTube. Yeah, definitely the
YouTube, is it?
archive. Yeah, I mean it makes it fun for me and fun for others. Sometimes people don't make the net, and hey, well, there it is, and archived, cleaned up a little bit, and definitely. So we couldn't get together this Thanksgiving, but we have spent many, many, many Thanksgivings together, family, and all of our great family. And your mom, especially, was queen of cooking
Yes.
turkeys, and then I learned from her. I really did. All right, brother Bill. Well, you take care, and love to you and Andrea, and you guys take care of those turkeys for us. And I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight and being here on the Great Outdoor Net. We will talk later. This is W6CJX for the Papa System on the Great Outdoor Net. So, yeah, head over to either the Papa webpage, drop down to YouTube for the new one tomorrow after it gets published, or just go to Bob W6CJX and you can find it there and just listen to it. It should be really good if you're interested. If you're not, I'm not going to force you. All right, let's see who's out there tonight. This is W6CJX Net Control.
Kilo Delta 6, Lima Bravo, Logan on All-Star.
Kilo Oscar 6, Kilo Papa Zulu, Andy.
November 6th,
Kilo
Hotel
Juliet
Alpha
6,
Lima,
Golf
Alpha
Echo
9.
Uniform, Bob on All-Star.
Okay, that's a good start. That's like I said, this tonight, I know we're not all going to talk probably about wild turkeys. I've seen a couple. I did see two up in Solvang. It's actually quite funny, and I took a picture of it and put it on Facebook because they were both walking down one of the sidewalks, and I still laugh because it was like the day before Thanksgiving or something, and I thought, do you guys know you really should not be out on the street right now? So it was cool. Anyway, so you might have seen some wild turkeys in your time if you would, or you might have drank a few wild turkeys. I mean, that's also up for grab. Logan, KD6LLB. Good evening, Logan. Great job on the DRT net as always, and good to hear you tonight. Take it away.
Thank you, Bob. This is Logan, KD6LLB, coming in on All-Star. And, I don't know all that much about turkeys. It's something that I don't remember anybody even hunting them, even though they were around when I grew up, where I grew up, outside of Austin. At least the hens were around. I used to see those pretty often. And sometimes with the youngins, listen to me, all of a sudden I'm back in Texas, youngins. I never saw, I guess a male turkey is called a gobbler, oddly enough. Little known fact. Anyway, used to see the females, never saw the males. Don't know much about them. They just sort of would be around, and they never stayed. When if you saw them, it was usually them leaving in a hurry. But I did your brother-in-law's comment about looking out, opening the door and seeing turkeys out around the property. That's pretty much the situation we had with deer in Westlake, just west of Austin, where my parents lived for many, many years. Pretty much when you got up in the morning and you opened a door, anywhere you looked, there were deer just parked all over the place or grazing. It could be 20 or 30 in one site. But again, we weren't allowed to hunt them. That's why they were there. Nobody could hunt them. But I've seen turkey a couple of times in California, but I'm not even certain where. It might have been Santa Barbara. It might have been near Solvang. I don't know. But I did want to just sign off by saying thank you for doing the net, Bob, and I hope everybody has a great week coming up. And this is Logan, KD6LLB. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Logan. You can tell I'm scraping the barrel as for topics. We're doing wild turkeys. No, but I just figure we could learn something. I always learn something on this net, whether it be from you guys or just the topic that I research a little bit and see what, I don't know if people really eat wild turkeys or not. I would imagine they're probably a little gamey, as they say. I don't know. I know Tom and a few others have actually bagged a turkey or two. So if Tom wants to come on tonight, that would be great. Let's see. Oh, I think Andy, I heard the other night talking about wild turkeys, I believe. So maybe Andy's got some information too. So thank you, Logan, as always. And you'll really get a kick out of, even if you just listen to that part of the archive of the net tomorrow, just the part that I'm going to put in of the rest of the interview with him. It's really good. Some of the stuff that these turkeys do. And when I mentioned, when I was talking to, during the first segment there of the interview, I said, well, they really should just make a movie of kind of like the birds. He sent me a picture, and I'll send it to you. You got to see this. There's, like he described, when all the leaves are gone in these poplar trees in this time of year, all you see is these big black things up in the trees. And I thought, this is like scary. It's like little witches, or you know what I mean? It's really kind of scary. So I'll show you that picture, and you'll know what I mean. I wish we could upload it. So I guess I could upload it somewhere. All right, thanks, Logan. And let's say hello to Andy, KO6KPZ. Welcome, Andy.
Well, thank you, Bob. I have quite a lot of experience hunting wild turkey. Logan called the males gobblers, and we always call them toms. So, I spent hours and hours and hours. My dad, my cousins, and everybody, we'd call the tom in. I mean, he has a turkey call. It's like a little squeaker board. You try to call them in and get them closer so they're in range, so to speak. The toms are shy. That's why we call them in. The hens, they don't really gobble. It's probably why they call them gobblers. The males, anyways. I lived in north central Missouri for a long time. I still go back and visit. And actually, you said, don't know what wild turkey tastes like? It's wonderful. I mean, the breast meat's a little darker, a little more firm, but it's basically the same flavor. But yeah, I've harvested quite a few turkeys, and the feathers are beautiful. And the males, one thing a lot of people don't really understand is, you get a male, they have a little beard that grows down from below the gobbler, and they say it grows 1 inch per year. And so, once you do your processing, you save the beards, and everyone likes to compare the beard lengths at the end of the season, and it's just one of those things we do. It's not trophy. We don't hunt them for trophy. We hunt them for food. But that's just one of the sidekicks. Well, I mean, yeah, it's tough to hunt them, but they're beautiful birds. They really are beautiful birds, and they're very tasty. So, anyways, back to you, Bob.
Wow. I couldn't ask for anything better than that. I didn't set this up either, did we, Andy? That's perfect. I just heard you I heard you talking turkey the other night to somebody. I mean, just because it was on one of the nets, I think. Maybe it was the Thursday night net. And I thought, I had been kicking this turkey idea around. And I thought, well, by the time we get to Sunday, everyone's going to be sick of even hearing the name turkey. But I decided to go forth and do the wild turkey thing. And then we talked to, Carolyn and I were talking to Bill, my brother-in-law, and he started mentioning the turkeys. And I went, okay, this just has to happen. Obviously, this is a sign somewhere that we have to do the wild turkey. So, see, we learned something even from you. We got, and, I was thinking another way to be really fair would be to, and fun, would be to take them by bow and arrow, because that would be archery or whatever you want to call it. That way it's kind of more historic that way. I don't know. I'm sure they used guns back in the old days too, but sounds interesting. I do like dark meat. I know a lot of people don't. I actually almost prefer it, but I like the whole darn bird. I'm actually running out of turkey. I'm gonna have to look to see if some of them are on sale. Thank you, Andy. As always, you're always coming through with a nice story. It's always perfect, so we really appreciate that. Let's say hello to Hal, N6HAL. Do they have any wild turkeys in San Marcos? You would know if they do. Did you ever get a call for a wild turkey? And what did it sound like? Oh, maybe like that.
N6 Hotel Alpha Lima. Thank you, Bob. And yes, San Marcos does have turkeys. At least they did many, many, many years ago when I was a young kid, right up on the hill behind my house. My next door neighbor and buddy of mine, we used to go up there hunting turkeys. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. We just knew we'd seen them up there in the hills when we were up there playing, cowboys and Indians. And so we decided we'd go turkey hunting one day. So we got a hold of our probably BB guns or pellet guns at that time. And we went up and hiked up to the top of this hill, about 200 feet to the top, shrubs and rocks and all kinds of brush, and a lot of eucalyptus trees on top. And we never saw any turkeys up in the nest in the trees, but we did see what we thought were turkey nests on the ground under the shrubs. So they had made little nests underneath the shrubs and the rocks, and we used to see them coming out of there. I don't even think we ever shot at one, but we go up there, once every couple of months and just see if they were still up there. And sure enough, they were always up there, but it was quite interesting. But other than that, that's my turkey experience. I don't hunt much and never did hunt turkeys. Back to the net, N6HAL.
Yeah, I had a feeling there might be some up in San Marcos. As you get away from a little bit of the city and things like that, you end up finding them. That's why it was so interesting to see the two turkeys walking down the side. It's literally on the sidewalk in front of someone's house. And I was driving by. I was up there probably working at one of the banks or the casino, wherever life took me that day, and I saw these two turkeys walking down the street. So there was these two turkeys that walked into it. Anyway, I'll figure a joke out of that one. Well, thank you, Hal. Yeah, hitting with BB guns. I mean, someone equated it to like quail because they kind of like, that's how they sort of flutter and take off. And I would imagine if if you're really into hunting them, and I'm not, it's one of the things we discussed on this interview. I asked Bill if he had ever hunted before, and I didn't think he had, because he basically lived in Woodland Hills for about 50 years till he moved up to Cedar City, Utah. And he said, no, I've never really hunted before. And I said, neither have I, but how are we on the great outdoor net if we've never been hunting? Shame on us, right? All right. Thank you, Chief. Appreciate you as always, and good to hear you, and hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And I know we're probably all talked out about Thanksgiving and dinners and all that stuff, but still open on the table. Let's say hello to Bob, KJ6GEU. Welcome, Bob, and what's going on over in Simi if you're home?
How you doing, Bob? This is Bob also, KJ6GEU. I'm on All-Star here only because I had to do some work on my work computer in the other room. It's not in my shack, so just brought my HT in here. Hope it's coming through okay. Wild turkeys. The only experience I ever had with them, my wife and I were on a vacation, a little short trip down to Ramona in San Diego County a few years ago. As we were driving up to the hotel, we drove past this little park, and we saw about 10 or 12 critters running around in the park, and we were wondering what the heck they were. We drove up a little closer, and sure enough, they were wild turkeys. Yeah, big black birds. They were too big to be anything else, and they sure looked like turkeys, so we assumed that's what they were. That is my one and only experience with wild turkeys. Never hunted anything, never planning on doing it, but anyway, that's about it for my turkey experience. Back to net. Have a great day, or a great evening, I should say, and a great week. 73's KJ6GEU. Back to net control.
No, you sound great on your clear note or whatever you got there. All-Star sound absolutely perfect. Almost as good as me. But appreciate you being there. And yeah, I didn't expect a whole lot out of, I might have saw a turkey. Do they even have them at the zoo? I guess we can't even say that. But they are beautiful birds, definitely. They have kind of I don't know, maybe kind of an ugly face, but some of them have blue. I've seen, looks like blue eyeshadow or something. I don't know. I did a little bit, maybe too much research before this net. Who does this much research for a net? I don't know. Something wrong with me. Thank you, Bob. All right, let's say hello to Jeff, AB6MB. I know I've been called a turkey once or twice. How about you? What you doing there, Jeff? And welcome to the net.
Well, Bob, we need to talk turkey and get serious. Interesting, turkey. I always got connected in my mind turkeys and WKRP. And God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. That is still stuck. I remember seeing it first time, and I just died laughing. That was so perfect. I've never seen a wild turkey, and I've never had wild turkey, but I've had a pheasant, and they taste gamey to me, and I don't care for the gamey taste. So I've never been really much in getting hunting animals and then eating them out of the wild. Because they fatten the turkeys up with grain and whatnot, and I think ice cream and other stuff like that to get them nice and fat. But the ones that are for sale that in the stores, those ones cannot fly, as WKRP found out. And turkey's good. And, Thanksgiving really is good, and turkey sandwiches are good. And so with that, I'll turn it back to you. I'm glad we could get serious and talk turkey. Alpha Bravo 6, Mike Bravo.
Well, thank you, Jeff. W6CJX, and we are talking turkey. I would think they might be a little bit gamey, kind of like you said, like pheasants and quail and those kind of things. But then again, there's no hormones and stuff being injected. I guess you can try to find an all-natural turkey at probably one of those expensive places. What is, I can't even think of the name of this store. Whole Foods, those kind of places where you can get one that's organic, whatever that means for a turkey. But, they do taste pretty darn good. So it's a lot of fun. All right. Well, thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I'd like to talk. Let's talk turkey. Get down to the brass tacks, as they say. This is W6CJX. Oh, I wanted to comment on the WKRP. I played a little bit of that the other night. I think I did it over on Brian's Net. Yeah, on Brian's Net. And I had to cut it all down and do some creative editing. But I stumbled across that because it just popped up, I think, on Facebook as I was perusing, and I listened to it. And that was, like I said, one of my favorite shows back when I was a kid. And I kind of made me want to be, just kind of like emergency made me want to be a fireman. And I finally got to do that. But I really wanted to be on the radio, and I actually did get to do that as a volunteer, commercial radio for about a year and a half, and that was fun. And then this is as close as I can get to it, or as close as I want to get to it. So I'm having fun with this until the FCC comes after me and arrests me. So yeah, that's hysterical. I was laughing so hard. I said, I got to do something with this. It's turkey. It's Thanksgiving. I got to play the part of that. Oh, the humanity, whatever. Les Nessman. I mean, that's priceless, right? So got me laughing again. I don't have it on the board, or otherwise I might even play it right now, but I've erased it for space purposes only. All right, we are at the end of our list. W6CJX for the Papa System Great Outdoor Net on Sunday evenings here at 8 p.m. And we're talking turkey, wild turkey. And let's see if anyone else has any turkey talk or anything. Come by and say hello. Tell us what you did this weekend. Anything fun if you had a few days off. Anything great in the great outdoors. A lot of people were biking and hiking and walking all over the place. So it's always fun to see people getting out and doing some fun. Let's see. Come on now. Come on down.
Kilo Foxtrot 4, Bob Quebec Hotel Rock.
Kilo Charlie 6, Whiskey Tango November.
KL6 KPZ, recheck.
Ideas of what to do with leftover turkey? Maybe 6ME?
Absolutely. We'll definitely take leftover turkey ideas. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, I got a few there. We got Ron. We got Greg. Greg, where you been? You need to be on this net more with WLD. That's such a cool call sign. It's so good to hear you. We got Jeff WTN, and we got a recheck Ron, and we got Jeff with some leftover ideas. Let's go to Ron, KF4 PQH, Virginian turkeys out that way, Eddie. And how was your Thanksgiving? It looked like it was fun.
Howdy, y'all. This is KF4 PQH from Locust Grove, Virginia. Had a great time. My youngest son and his family come over. I cooked the turkey. It had been our tradition for me to cook Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, turkeys many times through the years. But when we were on the road, it had been almost 12 years since I had cooked a turkey before. So that was a good experience. And I got a couple of turkey stories here, I think. So while you were talking, I noticed, did a little Googling, and there is actually the National Wild Turkey Federation. It's a conservation organization conserving and promoting turkey hunting. And Midway USA has got turkey mounting kits, and I found one over here. This is from a company called Mountain Mike's Reproductions, and this is the ultimate turkey plaque. It's an easy-to-do-it-yourself turkey fan mount kit with optional wings, feet, beard mounting kit. It's able to hold the fan, beard, legs, spurs, and even the wings. So that's available out there too if you want to show off what you hunted. I saw a turkey one time. I don't remember what state it was where we were. I was probably in a state of confusion, but it was in a parking lot, and this turkey was mad. He was mad at a reflection of himself in the hubcaps of a car, and he was beating the heck out of those hubcaps and those tires for the longest time. So to all you turkeys out there, 7-3, stay safe. Keep those gobblers going. And 7-3, this is KF4 PQH, back to net control.
Good. That's really good. I've heard of that. They don't like seeing, their reflection, because I guess they feel it's another turkey and it's a threat or something. I know Bill talked about that in our interview. So it definitely is something they do. Wow. Well, that's a little bit more than I wanted to know about mounting a turkey. Wow. I would have never gave that a thought. I guess there could be a trophy turkey. Turkey trophy? There you go. Wow. Well, that's interesting. Well, you learn something every time, right? Well, thank you, Ron, and have a happy rest of the holiday season. I'm sure we'll talk many times because we sure like having you here. It's just like you're down the street. We love that. All right, let's say hello to Greg. Not very often he's here, but KK6WLD will take you as a check-in. And welcome. How you doing?
Good evening. Thanks, Bob. KK6WLD. Greg down here in San Diego, checking in via the local Papa 15 repeater for a change. Yeah, I don't make it out here on Sunday nights too often. Usually the schedule doesn't allow for it, although there's been a couple nights over the last couple months where I have listened to the net as I'm driving homeward bound from visiting the Eastern Sierra, but a little spotty coverage. I come back pretty late, so I haven't been able to actually barge my way in over RF. That last station story about the turkey fighting himself in the hubcap reminds me of I've got a spotted towhee that likes to visit in the backyard at the bird feeder. And in the late spring, early summer, which I assume is peak mating time or whatever, he likes to fight with himself in the patio door. When the sun aligns just right, he sees his reflection from the trees and flies at himself, much to his confusion when he collides with the glass and falls down to the ground. And I've tried... I moved the screen door in that spot so that he perches on the barbecue and flies at himself in the other side from the barbecue. So, yeah, I think that's what they call a bird brain. As far as outdoors this weekend, I think the most outdoors I got was the 2 afternoons that I went for a short bike ride in the wild suburbs of Southern California that is Mira Mesa here. But I did have a good time talking on the radio as I pedaled and worked off some of that pumpkin pie from this weekend. No turkey for dinner here. We had a Thanksgiving ham. And I'll finish up by saying that it's been a couple of years, but the last time I went hiking up on Mount Cuyamaca, as we were coming down in the towards sunset, there was a whole line of probably about 12, 15 wild turkeys crossing the trail. And why did they cross the trail? To get to the other side, of course. Back over to you, Bob. It's great to check in to this net after a long while. KK6WLD.
Yeah, we need to get you on here more often. We're missing out. That joke was about as bad as the one someone told the other night and said, why does the turkey not cross the road? Because he's not a chicken. Oh, that was Lou. W8LOU, that's right. And it took me a while I didn't quite grasp that. Why does the turkey not cross the road? Because he's not a chicken. Okay. All right, good. Well, now, I think this is the first time you've actually been on the Great Outdoor Net. We're going on almost 5 years, March 7th, which I don't think falls on a Sunday, but it did at one time. That's my dad's birthday when he was alive. It's his heavenly birthday, but that'll be our 5-year run of the Outdoor Net. Don't ask me how. We did it. We're here somehow. So, yeah, without giving away too much of this wonderful interview I had with my brother-in-law, crashing through windows is something they specialize in also. So you got to listen to that one. There's some amazing stuff that goes on with these darn turkeys. So, all right, Greg, thank you so much. Take care. And yeah, anytime you can come in, we'd sure love to hear. We hear you on, and I have to validate all the time. I watch my little chart here to make sure you're coming in on Papa 6, and usually you are. So that's pretty cool. All right. Take care, Greg. And let's break with Greg and take our first recheck. KO6 KPZ. Welcome back, Andy.
KO6 KPZ. Andy, something about wild turkeys, little historic facts. It almost became the federal bird, United States bird, instead of bald eagle. And Ben Franklin put that up, and it is rejected, which I like the bald eagle better myself. And, wild turkeys is actually, I grew up really loving them and loving the sport I did with them. But and also, as far as cooking them, you always cool them off the night before, cold water, whatever. You can even brine them at the same time. The brining helps take what some people call the gaminess out of it. I don't like gamey meat either, but I never really tasted it. But brining them is a very good way to prepare them to cook. Anyways, back to you, Bob.
You know, I agree with you 100%. I love the bald eagle, and I'm so glad that became our bird. But I had heard the same thing, and that's what I thought it was really neat with Steve coming in with the bald eagle cam information to get us kind of started for the new season with the big bear bald eagles. So it kind of just fits together there somewhere. All right, let's say hello to Jeff, and then we'll see if we can conjure up a couple more people. AB6MB, Jeff, what about leftovers? What's your favorite thing to do?
With turkey, well, the one that really stuck out of my mind is my sister made tacos out of the turkey, and essentially just replacing the ground beef with the turkey, and it turned out pretty darn good. So that's another way of doing it. Maybe mix a little hot sauce with it or something to kind of make it more Mexican. But it's really easy to make, and you can whip it up pretty darn quick. And it's great for those leftover little pieces all over the place on the turkey carcass. So that's my thoughts on that. Back to you, Bob. AB6MB.
I love it when you talk food. I love it when you talk food to me. Yes, I do agree with that. You can make what I like to do actually, and like I said, I do like the dark meat only because no one else does, and I get it all. Seems like anyway. I've always liked a turkey drumstick. Who doesn't like that? But I'll take all those little pieces and make other little pieces, and I'll take a flour tortilla, and I'll put I like mayonnaise. Some people don't. I know the mayonnaise haters out there, but I put a big dollop of mayonnaise on there, which adds like another 1,000 calories to it. And then I put the turkey all on there with some salt and pepper and roll it up. You've heated the tortilla so that it rolls nicely, and that tastes pretty darn good, I have to admit. So turkey tacos is very good. And people used to make turkey a la king. I'm not even sure how we made that. That's something my mom or grandmother used to make with all the leftover turkey. Especially, like you said, the little pieces. We always had the nice slices of white meat to make on sandwiches and things. So, yeah. Got time to go make. No one's talked long enough for me to go make a turkey sandwich tonight, so that ain't gonna work. All right. Thank you so much, Jeff. Let's see. Let's take a couple more if we have them. And anybody else want to check in tonight? W6CJX Net Control for the Papa System Sunday night Great Outdoor Net. And we're talking turkey.
KC6WTN. Foxtrot Golf Whiskey.
Did I miss you, Jeff? I think I did. I actually think I did. Oh my gosh. And I got Steve there. All right. I apologize. KC6WTN. My bad. I think I was putting check marks, and I just went totally crazy when I turned over Andy into Iran, and then you were right next to him there. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back or welcome for the first time. Either way, Jeff, go ahead.
Thanks, Bob. Yeah, I think you got too many Jeffs tonight, and we got confused. Yeah, I don't have any live turkey experience, but several years ago when I was recently divorced, I decided, I'm going to make a full turkey dinner just for myself. And I did that. And the next morning I woke up and my cats had decided to go through the the kitchen garbage can, tip it over, and pull the carcass out and have their own secondaries. And it was a mess. I had to clean it up, but, at least we all got something. Back to Net Control, KC6 WTN.
Well, there's one for the cats. Yeah, good for them. Wow. Just it's kind of like having raccoons. No, cats are cool. And dogs will do the same thing. Of course, the Christmas Story, I absolutely love that one too. From the Bumpuses, their hounds come flying through there and take off with the bird, and he ends up, I think all he gets is a wing. And they go out for Christmas dinner at the Chinese restaurant, and they bring out the goose or duck. I don't know, duck. Yeah, not goose. It's a duck, Peking duck, with the head on it and the neck. So, and the guy chops it off. Much classic. We have to watch that every year. I usually watch it in different segments. Like it comes on for 24 hours, so you just start watching a certain part, and then you get busy doing something else, and then you watch the first part over, and it doesn't really matter. It's always fun. You'll shoot your eye out. Steve, WA6FGW. What's going on, Steve? How's your Thanksgiving? And welcome to the Great Outdoors.
Well, good evening to Bob and the net, WA6 Foxtrot Golf Whiskey. And I don't have a whole lot to add to it. I did recollect that sometime, must have been probably 30 some odd years ago, we went ahead and did dinner at somebody's house, and they were going to be supplying the turkey. And we get there, and it looked a little unusual at first because it was just like it came from the grocery store, except it was inside of a plastic sleeve. And come to find out, this gal had cooked the entire turkey just as it came off the shelf at the refrigerator section in the market. So what was inside was, of course, the giblets and a few other things in a separate plastic bag. The bag, of course, was toast. Anyway, that's something that I kind of remember of all things from a long time ago. Other than that, just wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and you guys as well out there on the far west coast. Back to you, WA6FGW.
Yeah, that's where all the turkeys hang out. They like the coastal region. If you listen to that, or if you were around when I played that little periodical, I don't know what you call those things, a little presentation of Turkey 101, wild turkeys. They like to hang out. That's why I guess there's a lot of them. They like oak trees, at least in California, and they like the coastal region. Yeah, why not? It's cooler, right? All those feathers, it might get kind of hot in the summertime. Well, when you mentioned that about the bag thing, I was remembering when we used to, at one time, that was the popular thing. You get one of those bags that you bake. I still can't figure out why the plastic doesn't melt. And you put it inside of there, and you throw all your vegetables in there and everything else, and rosemary or whatever, and then cook away, and then it kind of seals in all the juices, and they don't go anywhere. So I almost wanted to kind of try that this year, and then at some point in time, people stopped stuffing their turkeys and started stuffing them with vegetables and or fruit. We usually do fruit, like an apple, maybe up where the neck area is there, just so that there's something in that cavity, and then fill the other cavity with a couple oranges and a few things. So this year I actually made a rub, even though I wasn't smoking it. I made a rub out of it was a McCormick chicken type Malibu chicken. What's the name of this stuff? I don't know, but it's a seasoning that you can get for chicken. There's some other name for it, but it has Malibu in it and it has chicken in it. I know that part. So it's got some really good spices and salt and I don't know, rosemary and a few things. And then I got some rosemary out of the garden and chopped that up real fine and mixed that in. And then I put in some, extra coarse salt and pepper. And I just rubbed the whole turkey down with that. And it smelled great because of the rosemary. It's such a romantic herb, aromatic herb. Here we go. Well, romantic sounds good too. Rosemary, as they call it in Italian, they call it rosemary. Anyone else out there that'd like to check in with us tonight? It's not a bad time to shut down, so we can do that. And let's see, we'll throw the line out, line, hook, and sinker, see if we catch another one. W6CJX is Net Control.
KK6 LMC.
Well, I couldn't think of a better person to close the net with. Definitely. KK6 LMC, love my turkey. No, love my chicken? No, that's not what doesn't work. Anyway, I think you have something to say, and I think that would be nice. So we'll put this whole thing together and ship it up to Uncle Bill. Everybody wonders it's not our uncle, it's your brother. Brother Bill. I call him Brother Bill. KK6 LMC, take it away.
KK6 LMC. Hi, everybody. It's been fun listening to this. I don't eat turkey. I used to and do the whole thing up, but I made a heck of a vegetable dish with tons of veggies and everything. That came out really good, and then put some sweets on top, brown sugar and some cinnamon, and that came out pretty good. And the stuffing came out good, but I don't care for it. I really... Right, just listening about it makes me a little bit sick to my stomach. Anyway, I came on here to tell you that my brother's albino turkey is all white, and he said that that's his favorite turkey out of all of them. And I don't know, I think Bob mentioned 24 of them or 25. I mean, you got to be pretty nuts, but he's a really fun guy, and he has a lot going on over there. Total menagerie. There's cats. There's deer that come in there. Last year, they had this beautiful reindeer. It was actually looked like a real reindeer, and so I named it. I checked with his girlfriend first and says, shall we name him or her Prancer? And it just reminded me, they had the horns that were all over the place on the top of the head and everything. Beautiful thing. I've never seen anything like it. And then he has this really great tree that's right in the middle of the yard, too, that's like a really perfect-looking Christmas tree that you could just decorate all up. But I don't know if they'd be able to find their decorations around that place. I tell you, it's a pretty good-sized lot and everything, and then they just have so many critters around and everything, but they feed them, and it's mostly pellets, I guess, and then they fill up the big 20-gallon water trough for all of the visitors that come in for foodies. So, but overall, we had a really good Thanksgiving. It was a lot of fun. The weather's been beautiful here, and hopefully everybody will continue to enjoy the rest of the holiday season out there. So just thought I'd stop in and share about the albino. I don't think that it would be too attractive, but they could put some paint on it. KK6 LMC, I'll be clear.
Well, I always thought that the turkeys that we buy in the market are white. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they are the darker turkeys. Anyway, he mentions that too on this wonderful little. It was just so much fun. We had a good time. Believe me, it's about an hour long, but I condensed. Well, not the portion of the wild turkeys. I got that down to I think 13 minutes or so. But it's very interesting. We had a lot of fun, and we'll post that up tomorrow. So if anybody's interested, go to the archive and check out I believe it's going to be titled Wild Bill's Turkeys. Like Wild Bill Hickok? Wild Bill's Turkeys. So look for that one. Okay, I want to thank everyone for checking in tonight. I hope everyone had a great time. It sounds like they did. Eating a bunch of turkey there, and yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. It's actually kind of good for you, I believe, and I sure like it. I want to thank the Papa System for allowing us to have a net like this and all the other nets that we have during the week. We do have a great assortment. I don't know how many clubs actually have that many nets and that quality of nets when you can learn about antennas and you can learn about just about anything, and welcoming all the new hams, of course, which is really, really great. Also, I want to thank Cecil for his legendary leadership and all the tech team that does everything behind the scenes and up on the mountaintops, because I ain't going up there. I'm too old for that. So now it's a good time to get in all that stuff fixed up, hopefully before the snow and ice hits on some of these mountaintops. All right, you guys have a great week. We started here on Sundays, and so tomorrow's not really Monday, it's just the day after Sunday. And that's how the calendars go anyway, right? It's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Take care, and we'll see you next time on the Great Outdoors.